Good evening, listeners. This is Pallavi presenting you another episode of Literary Magazine Spectrum, a colorful journey through words, emotions, and imagination. In today's edition, we bring you a blend of storytelling and poetry, moments that touch the heart and spark reflection. Our first feature is a short story titled A Night in the Railway Cabin, written and narrated by VIKAS Singh, a story that captures how even the loneliest night can shine with hope and human warmth. Later in the program, we'll present two soulful poems composed by RASHMI SETHI, celebrating life's simple joys and inner strength. So sit back and let the colors of spectrum unfold. Let's listen A Night in the Railway Cabin by VIKAS Singh, who loves tourism and his habit of roaming around the world had made him a storyteller, and he tells stories from his personal experiences. Let's listen his story.
There are some incidents that stay with you for the rest of your life and leave a lasting impact. Something like this happened during one of my visits to Jim Corbett Tiger Reserve. "You should hurry, Vishal. It has started raining and it's getting dark," said Alok, who was a friend and the owner of the jungle resort I was staying at. "I'm almost ready. Just checking whether I have packed everything. The gate of the Jim Corbett will be closed for vehicles at 6 p.m. and it's already 4:30. Alok spoke with some consternation. "Why do they close the gate so early? There is a danger of elephants. In the last week alone, there were 5 attacks on vehicles." Then I must hurry. I was beginning to get worried now. I quickly loaded my luggage into my jeep and I took off in a jiffy. I was on my way to Pilibhit Tiger Reserve. I have to drive through a dense forest of Jim Corbett Tiger Reserve. Jim Corbett and Pilibhit Tiger Reserve are connected by the Terai area, which was known for its robust tiger population. The distance from resort where I was staying and the entry gate of Pilibhit Tiger Reserve was approximately 30 kilometers. There was a railway crossing around 19 kilometers from the resort that I had to cross. After the railway crossing, another 10 or 11 kilometers, I would be in the Pilibhit Tiger Reserve. I had to enter Pilibhit Tiger Reserve before 6 p.m. and had 1.5 hours for that. Covering a distance of 30 kilometers should not be a problem. I was very confident that it would not take me more than 45 minutes to cross into Pilibhit Tiger Reserve. My only concern was rain and the elephants that could delay my journey. Winter was setting in and the days were shorter. It was getting dark already. I was driving at a steady speed when all of a sudden a heavy downpour started. I was forced to slow down. It was almost 5:15 when I reached the railway crossing. As I was very close to the railway crossing, I saw that a tree had fallen on the road right next to the railway crossing, blocking it completely. I knew that I had to turn back immediately, as it was not possible to reach the Pilibhit Tiger Reserve now. I was turning my jeep when I saw a man running towards me. "Sir, I am the railway crossing gatekeeper. Can you take me with you to the forest post?" he requested. "Of course. Come on in." "Just a minute, sir. Let me lock the cabin and come." He turned and ran towards the cabin. He quickly locked the cabin and came back and sat by my side in the jeep, and we drove off. It was raining heavily now and it was dark. I was driving at a slow speed. Suddenly we saw that another tree had fallen on the road. It was not blocking the road completely, but there was not enough space for the jeep to pass. "What to do now?" I asked the gatekeeper. "I don't know, sir," he replied, looking scared and confused. I was not expecting him to be scared, and he was someone who used to spend his entire day in the middle of a dense and dangerous forest. "We cannot step out of the jeep at this place and remove the tree. I think we need to go back and spend the night in the railway cabin near the railway crossing." "No, sir. I don't want to go back. I don't want to be there at night," he replied, looking visibly scared. "Why? What's the problem? And is there any other option at this point of time?" I was very surprised and confused as to why he was so scared of going back to the cabin where he spent his entire day. "You're right, sir. We don't have any other option, but..." He looked worried and unsure. I turned my jeep and we drove back towards railway cabin. It was still raining, but now not as heavily as it was earlier when we reached the railway crossing. The gatekeeper ran and opened the gate. I picked up a bag of mine which contained some edibles and another one which had my sleeping bag and ran inside. As soon as I was in, he closed the door, bolted it and switched on the electric fencing to secure the cabin from wild animals. With electric fencing on, there was no chance of any wild animals and humans coming close to the cabin. And there was no chance of any human presence at this time in the forest either, in the absence of any village inside the forest. Finally a dry place to spend the night. I sighed with relief and looked around the cabin. It was an old cabin with a small fireplace. There was a lot of chopped wood near the fireplace. It had a table and 2 chairs, and in a corner there was a bench which was almost as broad as a single bed. I placed my bag on the table and sat on the chair. "Oh, I forgot to ask your name." "Sir, my name is Ravi," replied the gatekeeper. Ravi was in his late 20s. He was slim and tall, with short hair and a mole near his left eye. There was silence in the room for some time. "Sir, no matter what, please don't open the door," he said all of a sudden. "Okay, but why? Any specific reason?" "Sir, I can't talk about it at this time of the day." He trembled a little. Was it due to cold or something else? Perhaps I was imagining it all. I looked at my watch. It was just 6:45 p.m. Ravi started a fire in the fireplace and sat near the fire. I also pulled my chair near the fire as it was cold. "Should we make some tea?" I asked Ravi. "Sir, I have nothing to prepare tea," he replied. "Don't worry, I have everything. Do you have water?" I asked, taking out a small kettle, tea, sugar, and the powder milk from my bag. "Yes, sir, I have," Ravi replied, pointing his finger towards the clay water pot placed on a small stool in one corner near the door. I got up, poured some water into the kettle, and placed it on the coals in the fireplace. "Do you have a cup to pour the tea?" "I'm sorry, I only have 1 cup," I asked as the tea was almost ready. "Yes, sir." He got up and opened a small almirah and took out a steel glass. The tea was ready. I poured the tea into my cup and into Ravi's glass and came and sat in the chair near the fireplace. We sipped our tea in silence. Ravi simply could not relax and kept looking at his watch. The warmth of the fire dried my clothes, and with tea inside I started to get comfortable and took out a book to read. I decided to ignore Ravi after my repeated attempts to start a conversation fell flat. I must have dozed off because when I looked at my watch, it was around 10. My legs felt cramped and I wanted to lie down. "Do you mind if I take a nap on the bench?" I asked Ravi. "Please sleep. I will sit here only," he replied. I took out my sleeping bag and walked towards the bench. As I was placing my bag on the bench, there was a loud and strange scream. It was clearly a scream of a woman, but it felt as if it was a mixture of a scream and a laugh. I looked at Ravi. He looked extremely scared. "I think someone is outside," I said. "No, sir. There is no chance of the presence of any human in the middle of this forest at this hour. No matter what, don't open the door," he literally begged, looking terrified. "But what if there is anyone who needs help?" I asked, to which Ravi gave no reply and was looking at the door of the cabin. I was not going to open the door because he was right and there could not be any chance of any human at this hour in this dangerous forest. But then, what was this strange scream and laugh? "Are you hiding something from me?" I asked Ravi. Ravi looked at me. He had grown pale and had beads of sweat on his forehead. "Tell me what it is. Is it some kind of evil spirit?" I asked straight away as I don't want to beat around the bush. I was suspecting something of this sort because of the way Ravi was behaving. "Sir, please don't talk. She can listen to us. She's outside the cabin. Till the door is closed, we are safe. If the door is open, we are in trouble," he gasped. I felt my heart grow cold. We waited, too afraid to breathe. After some time, when nothing happened, I went to the bench, opened my sleeping bag, and quietly slipped into it. I laid there in silence, but now I was wide awake, and my senses were constantly trying to listen to the sounds outside. I knew it was going to be a long night. I could not sleep. In fact, I don't want to sleep now. I wanted to stay awake. I looked at Ravi. He was sitting on the chair in front of the fireplace. He was constantly adding wood to the fire to keep it burning. I got up from the bench and came and sat in the chair next to Ravi. I looked at the watch, and it was almost 2 o'clock in the morning. It was still raining outside. We both again sat in silence, waiting for the night to pass. Ravi got up and went to the clay water pot to drink some water, which was placed on a small table near the door. He poured the water into the glass, and as he was about to drink the water, someone banged on the door 3 times. Bang, bang, bang. I had seen a tiger mock charging my safari gypsy during one of the safaris, and I used to think that was the scariest experience of my life. But this bang on the door surpassed that experience. Ravi jumped away from the door and fell on the ground, almost near the chair that I was sitting on. I got up from my chair and stepped back a couple of steps. We both looked at the door for I don't know how many minutes. What was that? I whispered in Ravi's ear, who was standing next to me. She's outside waiting for us to open the door, sir. Please don't open the door, he said to me, almost crying. I'm not going to open the door, but at least tell me who she is, I whispered. He turned and gave me a long look of despair, then went and sat on the chair. There is a story of a woman who committed suicide on these railway tracks many decades ago. People say her spirit still roams around these woods near this railway cabin. Ravi spoke barely above a whisper. How do you know it's the spirit of a woman? Everyone in this area know. That's why no one spends the night in this cabin. There was an incident when a guard died here because he opened the door when she knocked. He seemed to have shrunk further into the chair. Now I was somewhat convinced that what Ravi was saying was right because no animal or human can cross the electric fencing and knock on the door. I looked at my watch. It was exactly 3:07 a.m. and at that very moment we heard a woman laughing. It was as if someone was laughing standing right outside the door of the cabin. We both froze where we sat and looked at the door. We kept looking at the door but nothing happened. No one spoke after that, and we kept our eyes on the door. We sat in silence, praying for the night to pass. None of us moved a muscle till the first light. Finally, in the morning around 7 a.m., when there was light outside, we opened the door. I stepped out. The clouds were gone and the sky was clear. My bags were in my hand as I walked towards my jeep. Ravi came and we pulled the tree to a side to make some way for my jeep to pass. He opened the railway gate so that I can continue my journey towards Pilibhit Tiger Reserve. We shook hands, and for the first time I saw a smile on Ravi's face. We had survived a scary night. I sat in my jeep and looked at Ravi. We hardly talked, but I felt such a connection with him, as if we were old friends who had been through a lot together over the years. Sometime you bond with strangers during a difficult time. I drove off, looking forward to my visit to Pilibhit Tiger Reserve and seeing the magnificent beast, the king of the jungle, the tiger.
You were just listening to a story by VIKAS Singh. After this, we have beautiful couplet of poetry recited by RASHMI SETHI.
Sometimes we speak of happiness as if it is the only color worth keeping. Yet, without the softer shades, would the picture ever feel whole? Emotions are the rhythm of our inner world. Joy, sorrow, peace, pain, each one teaching us a part of who we are. Through my poems today, I wish to celebrate this spectrum to remind you that feeling deeply is not a weakness but a quiet strength. The first poem, Embracing the Blues, is close to my heart. It is about finding beauty even in sadness, about knowing that every pause, every tear carries the seed of growth. So, as you listen, I invite you to breathe, to feel, and to remember that every emotion, whether bright or blue, is just another way life whispers, "You are alive." I am Rashmi, and this is Embracing the Blues. Embracing the blues. In the quiet corners of a bustling day, sometimes joy decides to slip away. It's okay to feel a little blue. Sadness is just another hue. The sky isn't always bright and clear. Clouds gather and the storms appear. It's all right to let the raindrops fall, to hear the silence, to feel small. In the painting of our everyday lives, each emotion competently weaves and thrives. It's fine to have those somber nights
where the heart waits heavy, devoid of light. Always remember, flowers need both sun and rain. Growth is patterned often with pain. It's okay. It's okay to pause, to withdraw, to mend. On the road of life, it's not just ascent. So when you find your spirit isn't bent and your smile feels hard to pretend, embrace the tears. Embrace the tears as part of your art. The healing, the feeling, the human heart. Emotions flow, they ebb, they tide, and every feeling is a guide. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be sad. It's true, for just like joy, sadness shapes you too. Sadness shapes you too. The whole being. Sometimes the heart is quiet, like a lake under silver skies. And sometimes it storms, its waves crashing in wild surprise. We are not meant to always shine, nor bloom in every hour. The moon too fades and hides his face, yet never loses power. Yet never loses power. Like the tears fall when they must. Like rain that feeds the ground, even sorrow silent and unseen tends the soil, where gentler joys are found. Anger burns to clear the way, fear reminds we are still alive, and love, eternal alchemist, teaches even pain can help us thrive, To accept our emotions is to sit with the truth of who we are, without rushing to fix, without the need to flee. It is to say, yes, I feel. Yes, I feel. And that is enough. That is enough. Remember, acceptance is not defeat, but a quiet act of grace. To hold each feeling tenderly, to give it sacred space. To accept is to listen to the murmur beneath the noise, to the pulse beneath the ache, to the wisdom that only silence employs, So, breathe my heart, not to erase the ache, but to understand its name. For even pain carries purpose, and peace is born, when we accept our feelings, emotions, and traits. We are light and we are shadow. We are laughter, fear, and grace. To be whole is not to be unbroken, but to love ourselves through every phase. So rest my heart in calm tonight. In laughter or in ache. For being human is a sacred art, and real hearts, my dear, must sometimes break. And yet, they rise again. Always, and always.
And as the last note of embracing the blues settles, remember, even in the quietest sighs and the deepest sorrows, there is a story being told, a strength quietly growing, a heart learning to feel. And now let us journey a little deeper, beyond the blues, beyond the highs and lows, into the full landscape of our emotions. Life is not only the bright moments we celebrate, not just the storms we endure. It is the entire spectrum of feelings, laughter and sorrow, excitement and fear, peace and restlessness, all coexisting within us. To truly live, we must learn to accept it all, to honor every emotion without judgment, without shame, allowing every emotion to be seen and felt. And this next poem, The Whole Being, is my ode to that very acceptance, to embracing ourselves fully, in our light and our shadow, in our soft and our fierce, in every part that whispers, shouts, or simply breathes. So let us step gently into this space of self-compassion where every feeling is welcomed and every shade of our inner world is celebrated. Here begins the whole being.
Sometimes the heart is quiet, like a lake under silver skies, and sometimes it storms, its waves crashing in wild surprise. We are not meant to always shine, nor bloom in every hour. Remember, the moon too fades and hides his face, yet never loses power. Let the tears fall when they must, like the rain feeds the ground. Even sorrow, silent and unseen, tends the soil where gentler joys are found. Anger burns to clear the way. Fear reminds we are still alive. And love, eternal alchemist, teaches even pain can help us thrive. To accept our emotions is to sit with the truth of who we are, without rushing to fix, without the need to flee. It is to say, yes, I feel. Yes, I feel. And that is enough. And that is enough. Remember, acceptance is not defeat, but a quiet act of grace. To hold each feeling tenderly, to give it sacred space. Acceptance is not defeat, but a quiet act of grace. To hold each feeling tenderly, to give it sacred space. To accept is to listen, to listen. To listen to the murmur beneath the noise, to the pulse beneath the ache, to the wisdom that only silence employs. So breathe my heart, not to erase the ache, but to understand its name, For even pain carries purpose, and peace is born when we accept our feelings, emotions and traits. Then peace is born. Remember, peace is born. We are light and we are shadow. We are laughter, fear and grace. To be whole is not to be unbroken, but to love ourselves through every phase. So rest my heart in calm tonight, in laughter or in ache. For being human is a sacred art, and real hearts, my dear, must sometimes break, and yet they rise again, always, and always.
And with those beautiful verses by RASHMI Sethi, we come to the end of today's edition of Spectrum. We began our journey tonight with VIKAS Singh's heartwarming story, A Night in the Railway Cabin, a tale that reminded us that hope and kindness can light even the quietest corners of life. Then, through RASHMI's poetry, we explored the gentler shades of emotion, love, strength, and the beauty of everyday moments. We hope these words painted bright hues on the canvas of your imagination. Keep listening, keep feeling, and keep believing, because every moment adds a new color to life's spectrum. Till we meet again next time, wishing you peace, positivity, and a radiant tomorrow. Let me bid you farewell. Goodbye.